Have you ever lost your peace because of anger? Have you ever cried yourself to sleep because of heartbreak? Have you ever wondered why some people rise above pain while others drown in it? Listen carefully. Your success, your peace, your relationships, your very happiness. They all depend on one hidden force. Backhand index pointing right, your emotional development. Life will always test you. People will betray you. Dreams will fail. But the one thing that decides whether you break or rise is how you master your emotions. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey, from the first cry of a newborn to the final wisdom of old age, to show you how emotions shape us, and how you can master them to live a powerful life. Seedling Part 1, Infancy, the first lessons of the heart. When you were a baby, you didn't have words. You only had feelings. You cried when you were hungry. You smiled when you felt love. You shook in fear when left alone. In those fragile moments, your heart was learning its first lesson. Backhand index pointing right. Am I safe in this world? Can I trust people? If you were loved, you built trust. If you were neglected, you carried wounds. Remember this truth. Our earliest emotions write the first chapter of our story. But your story doesn't end there, because every chapter after this gives you a chance to rewrite it. Child Part 2, Childhood. Discovering the language of emotion. As a child, your emotions became more colorful. You felt pride when you achieved something, guilt when you made mistakes, and empathy when you saw another person cry. Childhood is where you first learned. Backhand index pointing right, how to express your feelings without shame. Backhand index pointing right, how to manage your anger without destruction. Backhand index pointing right, how to celebrate joy without arrogance. Every hug, every encouraging word, every painful rejection shaped the way your heart learned to feel. But remember this, what you didn't receive as a child, you can still give to yourself today. Healing is possible. Growth is possible. High Voltage Part 3, Adolescence. The storm of emotions. Then came adolescence, a storm of fire and thunder inside you. Your heart searched for belonging. Your mind battled with identity. One day you felt invincible, the next day you felt invisible. This stage teaches the hardest truth of all. Backhand index pointing right, emotions are powerful, but they don't have to control you. Yes, the storm is real. Yes, the pain feels endless. But storms are not sent to destroy you, they are sent to shape you. And if you learn to stand tall in the storm, you will come out stronger than ever. Briefcase Part 4, Adulthood, the test of maturity. Adulthood is the battlefield of emotions. Here, your patience is tested. Your relationships stretch your heart. Your career challenges your peace. Every disappointment, every betrayal, every failure asks you one question. Backhand index pointing right, will you be a prisoner of your emotions or the master of them? Anyone can react with rage. Anyone can drown in despair. But maturity is choosing peace in chaos. Maturity is forgiving when revenge feels easier. Maturity is building inner strength so no storm can destroy you. True maturity is not about your age. It's about your ability to lead your emotions instead of being led by them. Part 5, Later Life, the season of wisdom. And then comes the golden season, later life. A season where your emotions finally begin to settle. Where you stop chasing approval and you start chasing peace. Here you realize, life is not about how many battles you won. It's about how deeply you loved. It's about how freely you forgave. It's about how gracefully you let go. This is the season of wisdom, where the heart finds rest. Hammer and Wrench Part 6. What shapes your emotional growth? But hear this, emotional development is not fixed. It is shaped every single day by your choices, your environment, your relationships, your willingness to heal. Trauma may delay your growth, but healing can restore it. Culture may silence your feelings, but courage can free them. You are not a prisoner of your past. Backhand index pointing right, you are the creator of your emotional future. Gemstone Part 7, The Power of Emotional Mastery. Why is emotional development so important? Because it determines everything. Backhand index pointing right, it decides the quality of your relationships. Backhand index pointing right, it decides how much peace you carry in your soul. Backhand index pointing right, it decides if you will rise in success or collapse under pressure. Your mind may plan your future, but your emotions will decide if you reach it. Fire closing call to action. So wherever you are in life right now, whether you are healing from childhood wounds, fighting through the storm of adolescence, or carrying the weight of adult struggles, remember this: you can grow, you can heal, you can rise. Emotional development is not just psychology. It is the journey of your soul becoming whole. And the moment you choose to master your emotions instead of being mastered by them, that is the moment you unlock true power. Because the strongest person in the world is not the one who conquers others, but the one who conquers themselves. Sparkles, this is your journey. This is your growth. This is your time. Part 8, the daily battle of emotions. Every single day, life will test your emotions. A rude comment, a broken promise, a door that closes in your face. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Backhand index pointing right, anger will knock. Backhand index pointing right, fear will whisper. Backhand index pointing right, doubt will shout. But here is the truth: emotions are visitors. They come, they go. Don't build your home in them. Don't let them rule your destiny. The real battle of life is not outside. It is inside. If you can win the battle within, no force outside can ever defeat you. Brain Part 9, the gift of emotional intelligence. Psychologists call it emotional intelligence, the ability to understand your feelings, manage them, and connect with others through empathy. Think about it. A brilliant mind without emotional control can destroy a life. But even an average person with emotional intelligence can build unshakable peace, powerful relationships, and lasting success. Emotional intelligence means backhand index pointing right, you recognize your feelings instead of running from them. Backhand index pointing right, you pause before reacting. Backhand index pointing right, you step into another person's shoes before judging them. Backhand index pointing right, you create harmony in a world full of conflict. The world doesn't need more geniuses. It needs more emotionally intelligent hearts. Because IQ may build machines, but EQ builds humanity. Milky Way Part 10, the final lesson of emotional growth. At the end of life, when we look back, we realize something powerful. It was never the money that gave us peace. It was never the trophies that gave us joy. It was never the applause that gave us meaning. It was the quiet moments of love, the forgiveness that healed our soul, the peace we found within ourselves. That is the ultimate lesson of emotional development. Backhand index pointing right, to grow from a child who cries for love. Backhand index pointing right, to an adult who gives love freely. Backhand index pointing right, to a wise soul who becomes love itself. Because in the end, the greatest victory is not what we achieve in the world, but who we become in our heart. Fire, and now the closing hits even harder. Master your emotions and you will master your life. Lose control of them and you will lose everything. The choice is yours. Part 11, emotions are not enemies. Most people see emotions as enemies. They fear anger. They suppress sadness. They hide fear. But listen closely. Emotions are not your enemies. They are your messengers. Anger tells you something feels unfair. Sadness tells you something matters. Fear tells you to prepare. The problem is not the emotion. The problem is when you ignore it or let it control you. So don't run from emotions. Listen, learn, lead them. Crescent Moon Part 12. The danger of suppressed feelings. Too many people wear masks. They smile in public, but they cry in silence. They say, "I'm fine," when their soul is breaking inside. But psychology shows us what you bury alive stays alive. Suppressed emotions don't disappear. They grow into anxiety, depression, broken relationships, and self-destruction. Healing begins the moment you allow yourself to feel, because the emotion you face is the emotion you can heal. Seedling Part 13, Healing the Inner Child. Inside every adult, there is still a child who wanted love, a child who wanted safety, a child who maybe never got it. Emotional development is not just about growing older. It's about healing younger. When you comfort that inner child, when you give yourself the love you once missed, you unlock freedom. Because the most powerful heart is not the one that never broke, but the one that broke and learned how to love again. Cross Swords Part 14: The War Between Heart and Mind. Every day, there's a war between your heart and your mind. The mind says, stay logical. The heart says, follow your feelings. But wisdom is balance. Too much logic without heart makes you cold. Too much emotion without reason makes you blind. The secret of emotional growth is learning to let the mind and heart work together. Backhand index pointing right, the mind plans the way. Backhand index pointing right, the heart gives the courage to walk it. Dove Part 15: Forgiveness. The highest form of emotional growth. There is no greater test of emotional maturity than forgiveness. Because forgiveness is not weakness, it is strength. Anyone can hold a grudge. Anyone can stay bitter. But only the strong can release the weight of hatred. Forgiveness doesn't excuse the wrong, sets you free. Because the chain you hold around another person's neck is the same chain tied around your own heart. Part 16: The Power of Gratitude. Science proves it. Psychology proves it. Spirituality proves it. Gratitude transforms emotions. When you focus on what you lack, you live in anger, fear, and jealousy. But when you focus on what you have, your heart shifts into joy, peace, and abundance. Gratitude doesn't change your situation immediately, but it changes you, and when you change, your life follows. Shield Part 17: Resilience. Rising after the fall. Life will break you, that's a promise. But emotional development is not about never falling. It's about learning how to rise. Resilience is built when pain meets perseverance. Every heartbreak, every loss, every failure is a chance to strengthen your spirit. Remember, a scar is not a sign of weakness. It's proof that you healed. Magnifying Glass Tilted Left Part 18: Self-Awareness. The mirror of the soul. You cannot control what you do not understand. And that's why self-awareness is the foundation of emotional mastery. Ask yourself, backhand index pointing right, why do I react this way? Backhand index pointing right, what triggers me? Backhand index pointing right, what am I really feeling underneath the anger? The person who understands themselves becomes unshakable. Because when you know your patterns, you can rewrite them. And when you master yourself, no one else can control you. Milky Way Part 19: Love, the final emotion. At the root of every emotion, there is love. Fear is love of safety. Anger is love of justice. Sadness is love of what was lost. And pure love, unconditional love, is the highest stage of emotional growth. Because when you live in love, you no longer live in fear. You no longer compete. You no longer hate. Love is not just romance. Love is presence. Love is compassion. Love is choosing peace when chaos surrounds you. Glowing Star Part 20: Legacy. Who you become in the end. At the end of your journey, people won't remember how smart you were, how rich you were, or how powerful you were. They will remember how you made them feel. Your legacy is not written in your bank account or in your achievements. It is written in the hearts you touched, the lives you lifted, the peace you carried. This is the ultimate goal of emotional development. Backhand index pointing right, to become a soul that leaves light wherever it goes. Because the final measure of a life well lived is not what you conquered in the world, but what you conquered